Bonjour tout le monde. Hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Learn French with Madame. Aujourd'hui, on va parler au sujet de la nourriture, spécifiquement les courses. So today we are going to talk about food, specifically shopping, and stores in France have different types of stores, I guess. So there's not really like a big grocery store. I mean, there are like Franprix, but they have individual stores for like major things. So they have like a butcher shop and a cheese shop and a bakery and all those things. But we don't really have most of those here in the United States. We can just buy a lot of that stuff in our big box stores like Walmart or Meijer or Target and all those things. So today that's what we're going to talk about, those specific stores and some things that you can find in those stores. Then in our next video, we're going to talk about a couple of more things you can find in those stores and some phrases about like how to buy things and how much do you need and where could you find these certain things. Okay, donc aujourd'hui, on va commencer. So today we're going to start in the bottom right screen. There's a little QR code if you want to scan that to follow along with our Pear Deck. So you can scan it. It'll bring up the student session, and then you can click through it as I flip through the slides. Okay, but if you don't want to do that, it's not necessary. Okay, on y va. So our first word that we have is faire les courses. Faire les courses, and that just means grocery shopping. So it means to do the grocery shopping. So faire les courses, to do the grocery shopping. Okay, I'll say it, you say it, and then we're going to move on to our next word. So I'll say it first, faire les courses. Now you guys say it. Excellent. Okay. Deuxième mot de vocabulaire is la boulangerie. La boulangerie is our bakery that looks like it's bread. I had a couple of kids point out that it looks sort of like a cat, but it's actually bread. So la boulangerie is our bakery. La boulangerie, bakery. Okay? I'll say it and then you say it, and then we're going to move on to our next word. La boulangerie. Excellent. OK, on continue. Ça, c'est le ou la personne qui travaille à la boulangerie. So, ça, c'est le ou la personne qui travaille à la boulangerie. So, this is the person that works at the bakery. So, we have le boulanger, la boulangère. Le boulanger, la boulangère. What do you think is the difference between those two words, le boulanger and la boulangère? Exactement. One is masculine and one is feminine. So in this picture, dans cette photo, c'est la boulangère. This is the baker, but it's feminine. So le boulanger, la boulangère. Okay? Le boulanger is pretty easy to say. Boulangère is a little bit harder just because it's got that accent and the extra letter. So we're just going to say the feminine word and then we'll move on. All right? I'll say it and then you say it. La boulangère. Excellente. OK? On continue notre prochain mot de vocabulaire, la pâtisserie. La pâtisserie. La pâtisserie is like a pastry shop, so like a dessert shop, someplace where you might find like cupcakes and cakes and pain au chocolat, and you might find éclair and a couple of other desserts there. So la pâtisserie is like your sweet shop, sort of. La pâtisserie. I don't know. I guess they do have a couple of spots like where we're at down in like downtown Detroit or like Dearborn or Ann Arbor. All of those places might have a pâtisserie. Okay, so I'll say it and then you say it and then we'll move on. La pâtisserie. Excellent. You can kind of think of this as like pastry if you kind of squint your eye and tilt your head in a certain direction. Kind of looks like pastry if you get a little stuck on what that word means. Okay, so I'll give you a couple of seconds if you're following along on our student session with Pear Deck. This is where you would draw out that word, la boulangerie. If you're not following along on the student session, you can draw it out somewhere else, or if you just want to think about what that word means. But I'll give you about 10 seconds of me just waiting, and then you can pause the video if you need a little bit more time. Okay, donc on y va. So 10 secondes pour dessiner, so 10 seconds to draw. Okay, so we should have drawn a bakery, someplace where you would buy like bread. So this is where the French would go to buy their baguette for the day on their way home from work. La boulangerie. Okay, on continue avec la boucherie. So we had Pâtisserie, boulangerie, and now this is our next store, boucherie. Looking at that picture, what do you think a boucherie might be? Excellent. A butcher shop. So it's some place where you would go to buy like all of your meats. So I honestly can't tell you if there is a butcher shop in the U.S. I don't think I've ever been to a butcher shop. Most of the time, I just buy my meat from like a big box store, so like Meijer or Walmart or places like that. So I can't honestly tell you if there's a butcher shop in the United States, if there's a specific store. Okay, so I'll say the word, then you say the word, and then we're gonna move on to our next one. La boucherie. Excellent. OK? On continue. Ça, c'est le ou la personne qui travaille à la boucherie. So we already did the person that worked at the bakery. So now this is the person that works at the butcher shop. So this one's a lot easier to remember too. So we have la boucherie, which is the butcher shop, and le boucher and la bouchère are the butcher. So the masculine butcher and the feminine butcher. So we have a male butcher and a female butcher. Le boucher, le boucher, la bouchère. Okay, I'll say it and then you say it. We're gonna just say that feminine word. La bouchère. Excellent, très bien. OK, on continue avec le boeuf. Sorry, I'm out of order in my slides. Le boeuf is beef. Le boeuf, beef. Le boeuf. Kind of looks like beef. Le boeuf. And then I think our next slide is going to be le jambon. Le jambon. If you've been watching Extra with me in class, then you've heard of what le jambon is before. Okay, so le boeuf, beef. Okay, our next slide actually wasn't ham, but maybe we'll get to that one here in a little bit. We have une tranche de. Une tranche de is a slice of. So you could say, j'ai besoin, I need, une tranche de bœuf. I need a slice of beef. J'ai besoin d'une tranche de bœuf. Une tranche de bœuf, a slice of beef. Okay, I'll say the word and then you guys say the word. Une tranche de. Excellent. A slice of. Très bien. OK? Ah, voilà. La prochaine mot de vocabulaire, c'est le jambon. Ham. Le jambon. Evidently, I have ham on the brain because I've been thinking about this slide for the last couple of them. So, le jambon is our ham. We've already covered beef, which is le bœuf. And now we've got le jambon. So, both of these things you could find at la boucherie, at the butcher's shop. Le jambon. Okay, so if you're following along, here is where you guys would match. If you're not, you can write it down, match it yourself on a sheet of paper, but I'll give you about 5 to 10 seconds to match those words on the left to those pictures or words on the right. Okay, so about 10 seconds, about 10 seconds to match those terms. Allez-y. Okay, so we have Le Boucher is our black and white photo in the bottom right is our butcher. Le Jambon is in the top left with our ham. Une tranche de is our only phrase there, a slice of. Le Boeuf in the bottom left, which is our beef. And La Boucherie in the top right, which is our butcher shop. Okay? Donc, on continue. La charcuterie. Charcuterie is like deli meats. La charcuterie. I'm sure you guys have heard this word before in English. A lot of our words in English are actually French words. Charcuterie is not a difference. So la charcuterie is our deli meats. So our deli meats. La charcuterie. You've heard of like a charcuterie board where it's like cheeses and like deli slices and all those things. So that's where that word comes from, a charcuterie board. So charcuterie is our deli meats. Okay, I'll say it, you say it, and then we're going to move on to our next one. La charcuterie. Excellent. Okay, so identifiez ce que vous entendez. Identify what you hear. So I'm going to put all of these up here for you. I'm going to say one word, and you have to pick out what that one is. Okay, so our word that I want you guys to identify is la pâtisserie. La pâtisserie. So tell me, what is that picture of the word that I just said? La pâtisserie. Excellent. It's that bakery in the bottom right. So it's like our pastry store, someplace where you'd find desserts. Excellent. Okay, on continue. Identifier. So identify. What do you think this picture is? When we showed this word, this was a specific picture. What do you think this picture might be en français, in French? Le jambon. Excellent. Okay. And our next one, c'est quelqu'un. This is someone qui travaille à la boucherie. À la boucherie. So this is someone that works à la boucherie. I don't want to say it in English and give it away. So choose your option if you're following along. If you're not following along, there were 3 different options that popped up. Should be le boucher. Le boucher, I think, is the one that I wrote. Or if I wrote the feminine, la bouchère. But it's one of those 2. Okay, so we have le boucher and la bouchère. Draw anything that makes you identify le boucher ou la bouchère. Draw anything that identifies what those 2 words mean. Or we should have drawn something with a butcher. Something with a butcher. If you needed a little bit more time, you could have paused it too. Okay, so we're moving on with some more words because we're trying to divide this vocab up into 2 videos. And I'm trying to go a little bit fast so the videos aren't like 25,000 minutes long. And you can always rewatch it if you need a little bit more time. Okay, la poissonnerie, la poissonnerie. We've already done la boulangerie, la pâtisserie, la boucherie, and now la poissonnerie. Have you noticed a pattern with all of our stores and what sound they end in? They all end in that E sound. Poissonnerie, boucherie, pâtisserie, boulangerie, all in that E sound. So poissonnerie is our fish store, like a fish market, if you've ever been to one. The closest that I can get to this with being at is in like the fish section, the seafood section in Meyer. I'm not a big fan of les fruits de mer of seafood. Les fruits de mer, seafood. I'm not a big fan. So la poissonnerie is our fish store, our fish market. La poissonnerie. Okay, I'll say it, you say it, and then we're going to go on to our next word. La poissonnerie. Excellent. Okay, prochain mot de vocabulaire. Poissonnière, poissonnière. So poissonnier, poissonnière. Le poissonnier is a male fish seller. I don't know what the word would be in English. Like a male person that works at the fish store. And la poissonnière is the female version of that. See how much I eat some fish. I'm giving myself away in here. So we have le poissonnier and le poissonnière for our fish sellers, masculin et féminin. Okay, let's all say that feminine form. I'll say it and then you guys say it. La poissonnière. Excellent. Okay, on continue avec la crevette. La crevette is our shrimp. La crevette, our shrimp. So la crevette is shrimp. La crevette, shrimp. La crevette, shrimp. Okay, I'll say it, you say it, and then we're going to move on. La crevette. Excellent. Okay, on continue. Les fruits de mer. So I gave you a hint as to what this word was earlier when I said it. Les fruits de mer is seafood. Les fruits de mer, seafood. Les fruits de mer, seafood. When you break this down, you might have already learned the word la mer back with me in French too. So la mer is the sea, and fruit, fruits. So les fruits de mer, fruits of the sea. It's a very nice way of saying seafood. Les fruits de mer, seafood. Okay? All right, on to our next word. We have une huître. Une huître. What do you think une huître might be? Oysters. Excellent. Oyster. Une huître. An oyster. Une huître. An oyster. So it happens when my brain thinks in French and English. Une huître. An oyster. Okay? I'll say it, you say it, and then we're going to move on to our next word. Une huître. Excellent. Okay? Identifier. So identify. I'm going to put all of these up here. And I'm going to say a word, and I want you to circle which one that you think it might be. Okay? I'm going to say la poissonnière. Okay, and then for fun, we'll do another one. La crevette. Okay, so I said 2 words. Our first word should have been our fish seller in the top left. And then our next word, la crevette, should have been our shrimp in the top right. Okay, let me take those away. We're going to go on to our next word, une épicerie. Une épicerie. So far, all of the stores that we've done are la boulangerie, la pâtisserie, la boucherie, poissonnerie, and now une épicerie, which is a spice store. A spice store. Une épicerie, a spice store. And if you look kind of closely, you should be able to pick out what some of those little tags are saying. Like they're labeling what some of those things are. So for one of them in the top left, or I guess the bottom left with those boxes, there's got abricot, which is our apricots or apricots, however you want to say it. So you can kind of look on there and see like actual other words too. So une épicerie is our spice store. Une épicerie. Une épicerie. Okay, our next word is our people that work at the spice store. So we have l'épicé and l'épicère. So l'épicé, l'épicère, it's just the masculine and the feminine again. L'épicé, l'épicère. All right, I'll say the feminine form. You guys say it, and then we're going to move on. L'épicerie, l'épicerie. Oh, sorry, hold on. I was thinking my spice store. L'épicère. There we go, l'épicère. Excellent. Okay. All right, our next one, une boîte. Une boîte is a box. Une boîte de conserve is our can. So une boîte de conserve. Both are super important words. You could say, j'ai besoin une boîte d'abricot. I need a box of apricots. Why you might need a box, who knows? But if you needed to say that you needed a box of them, there you go. So we have une boîte de conserve is our can. Une boîte de conserve is our can. All right, I'll say it, you say it, and then we're going to move on. Boîte de conserve. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, identifier. Out of all of those pictures, which one is our l'épicerie? Excellent. In that top left, our guy that works in the spice store. Très bien. Okay. Okay, our next one, Lacameri. So we've already done la boulangerie, l'épicerie, poissonnerie, boulangerie, boucherie, and pâtisserie. So now we've got Lacameri, which is our like our cream store. Can't think of what the word means in English, but it's like our cream store where we buy like milk and like yogurt and all those things like that. So all those things that might enjoy or like might include like milk, I guess, or whatever the word might be in English. We don't really have places like these, so it's kind of hard to think of what it might be for you guys in English. So La Crèmerie is our creamer store, like wherever we're going to find our cream. La Crèmerie. So I'm going to say it, and then you say it, and then we'll move on. And you guys will have to let me know in the comments if you ever have like stores near you that sell just these specific things. I'm curious to see if it's just like a Michigan thing that we don't have these, or if it's like all around the United States. So La Crèmerie is like our creamery, I guess is the word that I'm looking for, not cream store, creamery, like where you might find like ice cream and yogurt and all those dairy products and things like that. Okay, I say it and then you say it, and we're going to move on. La Crèmerie. Excellent. Okay, ça c'est la fromagerie. So we automatically know that this is another store because it ends in that E sound. Fromagerie, crèmerie, pâtisserie, all those things. So la fromagerie, do we remember what le fromage is though? Do we remember back from French 2 when we learned le fromage? You actually also learned le fromage in French 1, but maybe we remember what that word means, le fromage. I'll give you a second to think before I reveal what la fromagerie is. Cheese shop. Excellent. It's our cheese shop. So la fromagerie is our cheese shop. And these are super big in France because the French love their cheese. Just like les boulangeries are very popular as well. The French love their bread and their cheese. It's a very big staple in France. La fromagerie. Our next one is a little pretty. It's not little. It's pretty difficult to say in French. Even I struggle with it sometimes. So just try your best, and it's helpful to listen to it over and over again. Even if you just type the word into Google Translate, not for translation, but in order for it to say it to you, that helps too. So this word is yogurt in English, and in French, it's le yaourt. Yaourt. So it's pretty hard to say le yaourt. It helps just saying it over and over and over again. Okay, so I'll say it and then you say it. Le yaourt. Excellent. Okay, on continue with our next word is a piece of. Un morceau de. Un morceau de is a piece of. You can even just say un morceau is a piece. So if somebody asks you, tu veux du gâteau, do you want some cake? You could say un morceau, a piece. You could also say une tranche de, because now you know how to say a slice of. So un morceau de, a piece of. Un morceau de gâteau, a piece of cake. Un morceau de fromage, a piece of cheese, etc. So un morceau de. I'll say it, you say it, and then we're going to move on to our next word. Un morceau de. Excellent. Très bien. Okay, ça c'est une révision. This is a review. We've already talked about this for the last 2 years. This is like the third time now that you're seeing this word. Le fromage, like as actually like learning it, but you've seen it a million and other times throughout like school too. Le fromage is cheese. Le fromage, cheese. Bonus question, tell me, what is a cheese shop in French? We learned that one not too long ago in our video. What is a cheese shop? Excellent, fromagerie. Très bien. Okay? Oh man, you guys are lucky. So I'll put all of those pictures up here and I want you to identify la fromagerie. So identify which one of those pictures would be la fromagerie. Be careful. I'm not saying le fromage, I say la fromagerie. All right, so draw a circle around which one is la fromagerie. Excellent. It's that top left picture. Oh, I forgot to hit forward one more. It's that top left picture. So it should be this picture that's left, not the yogurt one. It should be this picture. Excellent. Okay, on continue. Le supermarché. Le supermarché. So this is sort of like our Walmart, Meijer, Target, all of those things, like a supermarket, like a Kroger, that type of thing. Le supermarché. Okay, I'll say it and you say it, and then we're going to move on. Le supermarché. Excellent. Okay, le casier, la casière. So le casier, la casière is our cashier. Le casier, la casière, our cashier. Le casier is our masculine one. La casière is our feminine one. Okay, I'll say it, you say it. I'm actually going to say the masculine, and we've said the feminine so many times now that you know how that ending should sound. So you should be able to make that feminine sound, okay? I'm going to say the masculine, and then you're going to say the feminine. Le casier. Excellent. We should have said la casière. Très bien. Okay, on continue avec une douzaine de. Une douzaine de. Looking at that picture, what do we think une douzaine might mean? A dozen. Une douzaine de. A dozen. Okay, so how could we say a dozen of eggs? We know the word for eggs, and now we've got a dozen of. So how would we put together and say a dozen of eggs? Excellent, une douzaine de. Excellent, une douzaine de is a dozen eggs. So here is our egg, un œuf. And then we have des œufs. Remember when we taught this in French too? It was un œuf, but it's des œufs. So the pronunciation changes. Un œuf, des œufs. You want to hear a joke? Why don't the French have 2 eggs for breakfast? Because 1 egg is enough. Get it? Like enough? Enough. So we have an egg is enough, and then we have des œufs are more than 1 egg. Okay? So, a package of is our next one. Un paquet de is our next word. A package of. Un paquet de. So, I'll say it and you say it, and then we're going to move on. I want you to say a package of chips. Okay, so I'll say it, and then you guys are going to say a package of chips. The chips is back from French 1 when we learned those. You might have also said it in French 2 too when we did our menu project. Okay, so I'm going to say the package of part, and then you guys are going to say a package of chips. All right, on y va. Un paquet de. Okay, we should have said un paquet de cheap. Excellent. Un paquet de cheap. OK, on continue avec les pâtes. Ça, c'est aussi une révision. This is also a review. We also learned this word back in French too, and now it's coming back around again. Les pâtes is our pasta. Les pâtes is our pasta. Les pâtes, pasta. And it's féminin. Les pâtes, it's féminin. Okay, I'll say it, you say it, and then we're going to move on. Les pâtes. Excellent. On continue avec une bouteille de. Une bouteille de. Looking at that picture, what do you think une bouteille de might be? Excellent. A bottle of. Une bouteille de. You could also say une bouteille d'eau, a bottle of water. Une bouteille d'huile olive, a bottle of olive oil. Une bouteille d'huile végétale, a bottle of vegetable oil. De quoi, ce que vous avez besoin, whatever you need. So, une bouteille de is our word, a bottle of. Okay? I'll say it and then you say it. Une bouteille de. Excellent. Une bouteille de. Très bien. Identifier. So I'm going to put all those pictures up there for you. And then you're going to tell me which picture, or circle, I guess, which picture is the word that I'm talking about, okay? All right, here we go. Le casier. Le casier. All right, we should have picked our cashier in the bottom right corner, or bottom left corner, our cashier in the bottom left corner. Okay, that is all of our video for today. We are going to talk about the rest of our vocab, including more store-found items and phrases such as what do you need, where can I find, it is found, and then a place, and also like asking about prices and how much of a certain thing that you might need. Okay, mais c'est tout pour aujourd'hui. Si vous avez des questions, if you have any questions, envoyez-moi un email ou laissez-moi un commentaire, leave me a comment. Et c'est tout, et à plus!